Now, the rest of the story.
Alright, welcome back. I have the Rhino PT419H tedder hooked up. You guys saw last night, or the other video I had, or the last video I did, was of me cutting a combination of hay and new seeding oats. We're late on the oats. I know that. That's pretty much a given. It's just not quite like cutting straw, but we're getting close. But with the weather we had, we really can't help it. I did go through, I don't know if I really discussed it, can't remember at this point. When I was cutting hay, a lot of the stuff that I was cutting, it wasn't exactly super heavy, but when I was trying to lay it out flat, because I had the shields spread out on the disc bind, so I was laying out a flat mat of hay because I was going to try to get away from not actually having to use the tedder, because I honestly thought that there wasn't enough there to justify it. Well, going through and cutting like the oats and everything else like that, everything else that we cut, there's enough there to justify tedding it. I tried to go through and throw it just in a flat, laid out flat as we could, but the problem is going through and doing the oat seeding, it threw it all generally in a pile towards the center of the windrow, or the flat mat of hay that I was trying to make. It threw it enough towards the center that I can't exactly justify not going through and tedding it, because it's got a light little mat on the edges, but then there's still this heavier pile of hay, oats, oatlage, whatever you want to call it, in the center. So I'm going to go through. I went ahead and got the 4020 back up here because it's been hiding out down at my place. Getting a little long-winded here. And I went ahead and hooked it up. I did go through and put the Fosse valve on. This took a little bit of TLC, a little bit of attention. The only problem we have with this is, well, this is exactly what it is. This allows you to use 2 SCVs on any given machine when you only have 1 SCV available on a machine. This 4020 is suited perfect for exactly that, because we do have a bunch of jobs around here where 2 SCVs would be really handy, and it really opens the door up for the 4020 to do more jobs around here. Mainly, as of right now, like raking hay, tedding. The 7600 is currently being used. Ryan is cutting hay right now, or cutting his oats new seeding. Then when he gets back, I have some more that I'm going to go cut, and hopefully maybe I'll be done tonight. If not, I'll probably finish tomorrow morning. So a tractor like this, we don't exactly want to pull the 4640 out. It's got the duals on it, yada yada yada. We're cutting a lot of pasture and rough running ground. We don't exactly want to go through and pull the duals off for one cutting of hay. I have a whole lot I want to cover. I'm trying not to stand here and rant too much, but I at least want to go over this Fosse valve here and what it does. Is this little black box in the cab that no one has really asked about when I was doing all my cultivating. See, this is pretty much useless now, or not useless, just we're done with it for the year. This little Fosse valve down here, this little switch, what it allows you to do is it lets you pick either one set or one hydraulic cylinder that you're running, or the other. I don't know if you guys can hear it, but that's those solenoids switching between the SCVs. Really handy. I actually can thank my friend Ryan, not my brother Ryan, my friend Ryan. He uses one of these on his 4630, applying, or when he's running his anhydrous bar, because he needs 3 SCVs as opposed to just his 2. This did take a little bit of, cost a little bit of money, but well worth it for how much we're able to use this tractor more, because we don't have another chore tractor. We're limited to just the 4020 and the 76. Now, the problem I said I'm having with it, we typically have with it, is I went through and cleaned it off. It needs a better spray job. The whole tractor needs to be washed again. But these little bitty wires are probably the worst design they really could have done, or the worst option they really could have done. I know they don't need a very heavy gauge wire to run this, but when you're taking this on and off throughout the summer, spring, fall, we typically use it the heaviest in the summer. But it's really easy to catch these little wires and break them. And we haven't had any issues with the connectors yet, but I can tell you right now, the connectors, this one is starting to get a little sick just from taking it on and off. The reason we go to all that trouble, I mean, I say a lot of trouble, but it's basically, there's no trouble at all. You just pull these two disconnects here, and then this whole block comes off, but the connectors fit so tight that it does take a pliers to get them pulled out of there. And I'm not entirely sure how this happened. I believe we actually caught it when the Fosse valve wasn't, yeah, it was when we went to go put it on. We actually made the mistake of connecting these, and then it slipped and it pulled and broke it. But heavier wire wouldn't have been an issue. But can't complain. PTO shield, we definitely have that. It's sitting right over there, but for how much we've been hooking and unhooking the PTO, it's fine. We don't have any small children out here as of yet. My nephew's just a little too small just yet. But yeah, anybody that wants to say anything about that. The tedder, I like the tedder. I like it a lot. Not even just this tedder, just tedders in general. I have a hard time imagining going back to not tedding our hay out. I actually came back in. I had to, because this tractor is so low, I did put a spacer in the drawbar here to kind of lift it up just a little bit to get these front tines off the ground just a little bit more. But on some of the grass, hay that we did go through and cut last night, or I went and cut last night, I had it laid out flat. I just wanted to go and do a test run because I haven't ran this thing since, well, it's been 3 or 4 weeks, but just to make sure everything was going to run, especially like with the Fosse valve, that's where I was really concerned about, just making sure everything was working. And the stuff that was laid out flat and I figured would be fine, not going to ted it, it does have a bit of moisture underneath it yet. So I guess I just kind of did it to myself. Confirmed again that just laying it out completely flat, it's still trapping moisture down the ground, and going through and busting it out and spreading out the hay, the windrow, is the best way to go. So with that, I think we're going to switch over and you guys can watch some video of this running, and how about a little bit of a voiceover. Alright, I sped this up just a little bit. This little patch of field here I think is only maybe a half of an acre. It took me a grand total of like 6 minutes and 47 seconds according to my video here. So no, this doesn't have the magnet mount GoPro. This is actually my cell phone mounted on the GoPro camera that I happened to forget to put the SD card in. So I guess you guys get to watch the tractor from a distance, shall we say. So yeah, the 4020, I didn't really say much about that in the previous little clip here, but the tractor does very obviously still get used when we definitely need it. It's a really handy tractor. You can't really deny that having a smaller horsepower, 90 horsepower, yes, it is an open station, but still a pretty comfortable ride tractor to use on the farm. Now, as far as the quality of the hay and the grass and everything that I'm trying to ted, it's poor. It's light. The new seeding is about the nicest cutting that we've actually, or the nicest stuff that we've actually cut so far as second cutting. Our hay and the second cutting grass that we did, especially after seeing how it looks after it's been cut for 24 hours, because I am tedding this about 16 hours after I cut it. I would have preferred if I'd have cut it this morning, but it's beside the point. The second cutting grass and alfalfa that I did, that was only 6 to 8 inches tall, pretty much dried down to the equivalent of lawn shavings. It's not going to add up to much. It's not really going to, well, it's not really, to be completely honest with you, it's not even going to be worth cutting the
the second cutting grass, but I am going to cut it, or I am going to go through and bale it because it is cut. I did go through and shake it up a little bit with the tedder. Didn't exactly do a whole lot, but it did kind of, any of the clumps or anything that it did create going across it, it did shake those up and kind of spread them out. The plan is to go through, I talked to Andrew in about a week because he needs about that much time, give or take, after we cut it, of new growth. Andrew's going to come in, he's going to spray a little mix of, well, a little bit of everything. He is going to incorporate, I want to say rapidity. I'm pretty sure it's actually radiate. It's 1 o'clock in the morning, by the way, if anybody that's wondering why I can't remember this right off the top of my head. I'll mention it later on here once he gets it sprayed, but definitely want to give this second crop, third cutting after today, a kind of a kick in the pants to get it going, because we do need the feed. The cattle are hungry. I'm actually going to be headed out in about 6 hours here. 6-7 hours. I'm going to go finish cutting hay because Ryan didn't get done till later. Ryan had some issues. He had to drive a little bit slower because he has obligations he has to fill also. So the plan is that tomorrow I'm going to go out and finish cutting a bunch of obscure waterways and some pastures. So that's probably going to burn up my whole day tomorrow. Sounds like Ryan is probably going to go out. Well, he is going to go out and finish tedding everything that he was cutting last night, tonight, whatever you want to call it. And then he's going to go right ahead and ted out anything else that I had left to cut tomorrow. So we have about 2.5 days of cutting, of second cutting, varying density as far as how much material is actually going to be there. But it is making for a very hectic week. They're calling for a chance of rain. Hopefully that doesn't happen. And then they're not calling for any rain for the rest of the week. We'll have to wait and see. So I hope you guys appreciated the video. I'm sure most of you did. I don't doubt that. But until tomorrow night, until next time, let's just go with that. Take care, take it easy, keep in touch.